Hey guys, cheers from Cebu City. So basically ko, ba't lang kung makita nyo sa likod, but nagpack ko para sa ko ang trip next week. Muli ko Mindanao. I'm from Iligan City. So muli ko next week and I'm gonna squeeze in a couple of fishing sessions that do. Hopefully we get some fish. So while nagpack ko sa likod, I decided to create this video to show you guys what gear I am currently using, the rods, the reels, the lures, and other extra equipment that I'm using on my fishing sessions. The stuff that I want to try next week. So hopefully magamit niyo ni. I know nga when I started out pod a few months ago, galisod gid pug og pangita og unsa ang gamiton nga gear. So hopefully this video can help you guys out and get you started on fishing. Let's start off with the rods. So I have 3 rods. I have one traveling rod, I have one casting rod, and I have a jigging rod. So my traveling rod, I bought it online sa Lazada na ko siya gipalit. This cost me around 700 pesos. This is about 18 to 20 inches pag naka-fold, and mo extend ni siya taman 6 feet. So this is very practical when I go on trips, and then para lang maka-insert ko mga fishing sessions, a few casts. This is the rod that I brought to Siargao. Masulod na siya sa bag, and then diretso na dayon sakay ng eroplano. Next is my casting rod. So this is a State of Divinity casting rod. Is a 2-piece rod. Each piece is around 3.75 feet long. So that will make the rod around 7.5 feet long. This is very good for casting. You can get a lot of distance from this. The length of this rod is at 2.28 meters. The line that it could take maximum is 8 to 16 pounds. And the lure is 10 to 40 grams. So usually my lures are around 20 to 25 grams. So this is perfect for it, for casting, shore casting. I bought this rod for 1,800 pesos. And it came with 2 tips. So one tip is harder than the other, so harder siya nga tip. The softer one is good for better casting. Last but not the least, my jigging rod. So I have an Abu Garcia light to medium jigging rod. It's a 2-piece setup, but one piece is way shorter than the other, designed for light to medium jigging. This rod is 180 centimeters, which is around 6.5 feet, which is very good for jigging. It's very strong, and the tip is, stiff. I haven't used this rod yet. Muna siya nga set up ang ako ang gusto sulayan next week. I'm gonna be doing a bit of jigging on a trip, and hopefully I can get a big fish para matry na ko ni siyang rod. Just the design of it, yung Abu Garcia is a very known brand. It's one of the prime brands out there. This rod was actually given to me by my girlfriend. I think this cost more than around 2,500 pesos, which is crazy expensive, but it was given to me as a gift, and I love how it looks. It looks really sleek, and it's a beautiful rod. So I'm very excited to try this out next week, and hope I can get a big fish on it. Moving on to the reels. I have a Tika 2000 reel. I have a Shimano 4000 reel, and I have a Pan Battle 2 5000 reel. Let's start off with my smallest reel. First of all, when you store your reels, you always want to do this. Ako ning na-learn sa isa na ko kakauban sa fishing, si John. Iyang ginarap ang iyang reels, ang line sa iyang reels. O this is like hair, like pangkuan sa buhok sa babay, pugong, para dili masamad ang imuhang line kung naara sa imong bag or kung asa nimo ibutang nimo gina-store. So this is very it's actually a very good idea. Let's start with my Tika Streamstar ET2000 reel. This is the smallest reel that I have. The line that I have here is only 10-pound monofilament, and this is my travel reel. So kata mo ganina sa kuang rod kato telescopic na kung traveling rod mo po ni siya kung pares. It's very practical to bring on trips, especially kung mag-aeroplano kay ganra, and dili siya hassle sa bag. Look how small it is, right? So sulod gyud siya sa akong kapat. So this was the reel that I used when I caught those 2 jacks. I remember my bigger reel had issues with the leader, so I switched to mono all the way, and it worked. It caught me that big fish. The 10-pound monoline had no issues. I was scared nga maputol siya dito, but you know, a 10-pound line is quite strong. Ang maximum ani niya is kung maggamit ka o 4-pound line, which is a very light setup, taman siya og 230 meters. So I'm currently using 10-pound line, monofilament line aning nga reel, and I have around 80 to 100 meters na lang nabilin dere. I think 80 na lang siguro kasi nagkaputol. And so far wala man ko na spool, like mahutdan ko line from a fish. And ang drag po dani is nindot ra po kayo siya, humok ra siya. So, ang imuhang retrieve style nga gamiton is kanang slow, like walking the dog, or just straight up slow retrieve. This is a pretty good reel. Next is my Shimano FX 4000 FB. So ang gear ratio ani niya is 4.6:1. So when you think about it, mas taas ni og gear ratio ang Tika. But ang ganahan ako ni siyang reel is mas kuan siya og mas sturdy gini siyang Shimano nga FX. This is an older version of Shimano reels. You don't even see this sa kanang mga online nila nga kuan kay like ila na ning gi-face out. I bought this kay, of course, it's Shimano, so mas kuan siya, mas durable siya when you compare it with other reels. This cost me 1,500 pesos kani siya. And then the line that I have here is braid. This is 30-pound braid, and then I have a leader nga naka-connect ani, which is also 30-pound monofilament na leader. So far wala ko'y problema ning Shimano. Most of my problems that are associated with this reel is sa line, but that's just me because kulang kong experience pagkabalo sa pag-attach of tarong line or leader and whatever. But the reel itself is very good. Din nakakuha ko og isa ka jack ani katong isa ka fishing session nga, I think that was the never give up nga video. This is the reel that I use ato siya nga session. This reel is sort of decent on siya nga department, but it's not that good. I have had no problems with this reel, but if given another chance, I would probably not buy this one. I would look for another one. Although it is Shimano, it's one of their older versions nga reel, I suppose. Kaya wala naman kung kakitaan sila mga online mga stores. It's a good reel, but I think there are other reels, better reels for the price that I paid for this one. But I still like this reel. My third reel is the Pen Battle 2. Wala akong palagi ninyo daan. Ay, airplane. Gives you an idea where I live. So, ang ako ang third na rod is the Pen Battle 2. This is also a gift from my girlfriend. So, happy kid. Remember what I said about gear ratios? So this reel actually has a gear ratio of 5.6 to 1. So this one turn of the handle can retrieve 36 inches of line. That's 3 feet of line. One turn. So this is very good for fast retrieve and even jigging. This is actually gonna be my jigging reel. I know other people are using 5,000. This is a 5,000 reel. 5,000 reels as casting reels, which I find very absurd, but they use it for when they go after very big fish. But for this reel, I'll be using it as jigging, as part of my jigging setup with the Abu Garcia rod, and I will be testing this next week. Hopefully I can get a big fish and see how this bad boy performs. Just looking at the rod, you know that it's an expensive rod. That's why I haven't used this yet, because madlo ko basta maguba or gas or unsa pa. But I plan to use this next week. This cost around 6,000 to 7,000 pesos, I think. So it is a very expensive rod. But looking at how this reel, very expensive reel, rather, but looking how this reel was engineered, you're gonna be very happy with it. Okay, it looks really durable. It looks really smooth. The gears don't make any sound at all. It's very soft, and hopefully I can get a lot of big fish on this one. Next up are the lures that I'm using. I have tried using bait. Didn't catch any fish with that. I haven't tried using live bait yet. Somehow I feel sorry for the fish that you're putting the hook on, which is weird because when you hook up a fish, it's in the fish's mouth. Most of the stuff that I use are artificial lures. That way you don't have to worry about bait. You don't have to worry about going to the market. Just find a body of water and cast the lure into it. Although when you think about it, the fish that you're targeting are always gonna look for live bait. So that always makes using live bait more productive. I know a lot of other anglers that are using live bait more than they use artificial lures. But so far sa phase nako karon kung asa ko karon sa akong fishing sa akong hobby is I'm still at the fishing lure stage, which is the artificial lure stage, which is very common when you're a newbie na magamit gyud og artificial lures and the like. I only have a few. Nakoy mga kailang anglers nga kabalo ko daghan na kay sila mga lures. And when you buy a lure, it doesn't always work. Sometimes you see a lure na ginagamit sa uban work, but it doesn't work for you, or the conditions are not right. So it doesn't always work at the condition that you are in, or the area that you are in. One lure might work here in Cebu but not work in Siargao. I don't know. So you always have to have that option. You always have multiple options when it comes to lures, but at least if one lure doesn't work, you can use another one. Lures ranging from I have spoons, which I can use for early in the day. I also have poppers, which are top water lures, which are actually the number one lure when foreigners try to catch GTs or the jacks or any top water fish. But the most common lure that I have are the jerkbaits are sort of the plugs. So minnows with lips on them or lipless minnows, those kind of things. Also have soft plastics, but I haven't tried those yet. But I'm gonna make sure that I try those next week. So the first one, like I mentioned earlier, are the spoons. Sorry, it's tangled. There you go. So here I have a gold spoon. There's one treble hook at the end, and then just some feathers na maka-confuse a fish as a target fish for live bait or a fish that is in trouble. Sa water, ang action na ni siyang allure is just throw it out. This is actually very good for casting kay heavy ni siya, metal ni siyang allure. And then when you retrieve it, it sorts darts in and out, and shiny man gid kayo ni siya. There's gold, there's silver nga spoon, which gets the fish's attention. I have tried using this before, but I haven't hooked a fish yet on this, so I'm gonna reserve my comments on that. Next up are poppers. So these are poppers. These are primarily used early in the morning or late at night, or even at night. Uh, later in the day, rather at dusk and even at night. What this lure does is sort of mimics when you retrieve this lure, mag-create na siya o disturbance sa water dire, sort of yang i-push ang water in front of it, which is the usual action sa kanang fish, nga kanang a wounded fish or a sick bait fish. And this swims on top of the water, which is very good for ambush predators kay ilara na or ilara diri song tunlon actually. I'm still practicing on the poppers. Last na ko nga fishing session, it wasn't really for fishing, it was more just to test the just to get some practice on the technique of retrieving poppers. Kay medyo hassle, medyo kapoy siya, but you only use this in early part of the day or later in the day, padulong ng gabi, para dili kayo finicky ang fish, and they usually hit top water anang time. Next, I have this. This is an example of a jerkbait or a plug. This has a lip on it. So ang action na na fish is kung slow retrieve is maganana rin siya, muna siyang magsalog siya, or kung imo ni siyang akong paborito. So ang akong paborito ng action na nga lure is sort of wind and jerk. So pag i-jerk ni siya nga lure, because of the lip, mo dive ni siya. So yung action is maganana ni siya. This is a floating lure. So more gid siya real nga fish, may imitate niya ang action sa fish. When you're using jerking motions pag retrieve nimo, you can also retrieve this straight up, like fast retrieve. This particular lure is my go-to lure when I'm looking for jacks or kanang mga mamsa dire, kung dire sa Cebu mamsa. Mo ni siya nga lure, kani siya nga particular lure kaning redhead nga minnow proberos nga 13.5 grams. This particular lure mo ni siya nakakuha sa tanan na kong mamsa. Tulo na kamo ko nakuha nga mamsa, and the biggest one was at 2.15 kilos. Kani siya nga lure. I have, so for sentimental reasons, this is the lure, the specific lure nga nakakuha ato nga mga isda. As you can see, grabe na kayo siya scratches and everything, and the hooks were bent out. Ano siya nga lure. This new one, I've had some hookups or strikes on this one, but I haven't yet landed a fish. Ay. When it comes to casting, ang kani siyang mga minnows, kaning mga minnows with lips, mo ni siya nga kuang go-to lures. Depende sa situation, depende sa color, depende sa condition sa water. Muna siya ko ang go-to ng mga lures for casting. One advice di ay sa kanang kumagamit mo plugs or artificial lures like this popper. When you buy it, you check the snap, the split ring. So make sure to check the split ring and the hooks, the split rings and the hooks. Kay some of these lures nga mo mapalit diretso from the store, some of them don't really have strong hooks or split rings. So what I usually do is to buy stronger split rings or hooks, and you replace the ones that are originally with the lure. I think that's it. So napay wait. So I also have soft plastic lures. Nakita niyo? So it's basically a soft plastic with a paddle tail on a lead jig head. So kanisha, this is metal. This is not a real fish head something. This is metal, and basically yaran siyang imimik ang fish nga mag-alala. I also have yellow ones. I also have blue and silver para ka na mo reflect ito kayo ang light. Plus I have luminous kaning isa nga soft plastic. I haven't tried using soft plastics yet this lure, but I plan to try them next week. Nakalisod lang diri sa Cebu is katong ako ang mga fishing spot nga kung naduan Batuan Manggod, which has a higher chance of this getting snagged, and medyo mahal ni siya, so I would rather use this sa kanang mga sandy beaches or not so rocking ang mga conditions, para at least I get a better chance of trying this out rather than mawala to sa kuha kay masangit. So the prices of the lures really depend on the brand and how big or how heavy it is. Ang mga lures na nakakuha karon, from the smallest one to the largest one that I have, is between 150 to 300 pesos. The poppers that I showed you guys earlier, the larger popper, that cost me around 280 pesos. So it's not cheap. And I usually just set a monthly budget for lures. You don't wanna spend too much on that. I identify a lure that I want to try out sa ako mga fishing sessions, and mo to siya kung target to nagpalit for the month. It's a good way to practice. Practice kana dili kayo magpalabi o gasto lures, because I know people, I know anglers nga grabe na kayo silang mga collection, but they don't really use all of them. So I'd rather buy one or maximum of 3 lures in a month, and put in that time to test those lures and identify if they are effective or not. If they're not effective, then at least you got the experience nga those types of lures are not working for you. So you don't always need to go for the expensive ones. Try out the mid-price lures first. What you should always think about is the action in the water. What are the actions? So you can always ask your the storekeeper, or kung isang gabantay sa inyo ang tackle shop do sa inyo, kung say action sa lure, ang color sa lure, does it mimic ang natural fish or natural bait fish nga makita niyo dira sa inyong area nga imong gina fish. It's also very good to ask or to observe other anglers kung sila ginagamit na lures, or ask them kung sa mga kuan. So most often than not, anglers makita nimo sa mga fishing spots diri sa Cebu, they're very friendly. They always try to help you out, especially if new ones ka. There are groups here in Cebu, angling groups diri sa Cebu, so you can also join one of those para na kayo magpangutanan. Ako, I am actually a member, but I'm not really an active member. I want to test out techniques and styles and lures on my own. There are a lot of videos nga makita sa YouTube nga pwede nimo magamit kung unsay action sa mga lures and usa ka fish ang usual gina-target nila. So just a couple of extras nga ginagamit nako. I used to have a net, which is very handy kung like rocky bitaw ang shore. It's easier to land the fish. Unfortunately, nalimtan ako siya sa dagat, and swerte na lang tong tao nga nakakuha ato. Mo po to ang nakakuha sa katong mga mamsa, and we use that sa mga kasaka ng mga fellow anglers sa kanang mga spots. We use that para at least safe ang pagland sa fish and dili makaboy ang fish. So I also have other extra gears here. I have split ring pliers. This is very important when you're changing out split rings sa mga lures, which I usually do when I buy a new one. Usually pag magpalit kang mga sa Lazada, you can buy this sa Lazada na mga barato ani, but you would mas mayo if mas nipis-nipis gamay. Although kung baga po lang tip sa split ring para mas split ang ring, mas kusdan siya. So napo ni siya cutting section dire, which is good for cutting line and other items nga ganahan mo i-cut. I also always carry a knife with me. Doesn't have to be, you know, a bush knife like kaning gerber nga ako. You can pretty much bring any knife. Ang purpose ni sa kuha is of course dili na siya pangitag-away. Ang purpose ng kanisa na is sa kuha is I usually bleed the fish if I want to keep it. Most of the time catch and release mo ko. I try to practice catch and release if the fish is too small to bring home, but sometimes if sakto ra gid kada ko ang fish, and or usually pag moabot ang fish kay it's badly hooked, you don't really want to let it go at that point kay mamatay ra gid gyapon siya, so better keep it. So if it's badly hooked, when I decide to keep a fish, I always kill them outright. Ako gisang kwan because I feel sorry for the fish if mag-flap pa siya there around, or you know they're trying to breathe. Ako lang imagine if I was it's like a person drowning in the ocean. It's dili nimo siya natural habitat, and I don't like seeing a fish suffer for that. So I like to kill them diretso gyud, and plus bleeding the fish actually makes the fish taste better. At least from my experience, and at least from what people say on what I've seen on videos or what I've read on online. So it's always better to bleed your fish and of course kill them outright. I also have a lip grip with me. So sometimes na yung mga isda nga grabe dagko kayo ngipon, you don't really wanna stick your fingers sa ilahang kamot, sa ilahang baba kay mawalan mo fingers, or at least you get bad wounds. So it's always good to have a lip grip. Kuyog ninyo always, and at least it's easier to handle a fish even if spiny and sticky ang fish. Just to finish this video off, you don't always have to buy expensive gear. It's always better to observe and to ask and gather information first before you buy one. Kaya not all gear, no matter how branded or how expensive they sometimes don't work for you. One piece of gear or one reel might work for another person but might not be work for you. It's a matter of preference. So you know, just try it out. Just be wise with what you buy. Ayaw lang put palabi diretso og palit kay di man gid nato ma-deny nga kani siya nga bisyo is expensive gini siya, especially sa mga equipment and lures and you know maintenance sa mga reels and whatever. So it is expensive. So ako yung ma-recommend if mosulod yung gani nga bisyo fishing is to try to observe and gather information first before you buy any piece of gear, and you know it will give you an idea what type of equipment you want to have. So sa pagkakaroon, I'm pretty happy with the gear that I have, the reels that I have, the rods that I have. For the past 2 months, all I've been spending money on are lures. No, not 2 months, but 3 to 4 months rather. All I've been spending on are lures. So, magkadugay pag na may gamit, dili naman kayo mahal ang inyong expense kay lures na naman yung gamiton. Although it's still a little bit expensive. Ako yung ma-recommend is mag-set lang din mong budget, monthly nga budget para sa inyong mga lures or kung sa inyong paggamit para bait. And anyway, you already have the rod and reels. Ang line, yeah, you can just replace that every 6 months, or kung grabe kayo gamit ang inyong line, then you might wanna consider changing it every couple of months, or at least putlan ninyo ang end mo. Punagi ang advice ako, every fishing session putlan nimo og around 12 inches, kay usually dira na ang damage kung makahook ka og fish or kung masabud ang imuhang line og mga bato-bato na dira ang damage. So you wanna remove that, kay you don't want something like hooking into a big fish and then your line snaps because na siya damage. You don't want that. That's that keeps me up at night. That gives me nightmares katong nakabuhi ang isa kadako nga fish niya. As for my gear, I buy all of my gear. I usually buy all of my gear sa Lapu-Lapu Taco Shop. Naaraman ko diri sa Mactan sa Lapu-Lapu, so it's practical nga dadto ko mo palit. I know the owner, and the good thing is ang owner dito is you can ask them questions or lures or questions about lures or equipment, and they are always happy to answer your questions. Taco Shop, they're on Facebook, sa Lapu-Lapu Taco Shop, they're on Facebook, and you can also find them on Google Map kaso ganahan mo man to sa ilang shop, and you get free advice. I think that's it. So if you have any questions about the gear or the equipment or the lures that I showed in this video, feel free to comment down below, and just post your questions, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Okay? Enjoy fishing!